Right, so on this stage you start in the start box with the rifle fully loaded, pistol holstered. At buzzer you engage the steel targets with 2 hits each but no double taps. So 1, 2, 1, 2. You then proceed down range, and while bypassing these walls there are going to be paper targets on the right. You engage them with at least 2 hits each as you move through this course of fire. You then go to the table. At the table you then table your rifle, transition to your pistol, get a hit on that steel static target, move to the window. From the window, neutralize all the knockdown targets, move to the second window, neutralize all the knockdown targets, and you finish in the last start box with a hit on that rifle steel with your pistol. Hi.
I mean, there's the M110, but that's a heavy beam.
Show clear. All right, you good? Drop it, holster it. 4074. Hi.
That's almost exactly my time.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go tape up one of your shots on the paper now.
Okay. Oh, that's the new policy. Time-wise, almost identical.
0.97 seconds difference between us.
0.97. So what's the difference then? What happened?
Well, I had a miss.
Oh, you had a mic.
I had a mic, yeah.
And that was shooting on the move?
That was the paper targets. 2 side by side, and I had 3 hits, 1 hit.
Did you get a little wild or what? Or did you put one on the wrong target?
I think I actually pulled one off the far side of the second. Because I think I did shot 3 and shot 2. I think you took more time. In fact, I think the reason that our times were different, I had a reload.
Yeah, but you did a good reload. You were never static, and you reloaded on the move.
Yes, but I think I went through the paper targets faster. It appeared to me when I was filming you on this that you slowed down a little bit more on the paper and got good hits on it.
There's this quintessential argument about shooting on the move or when there are targets that are in an engagement on the way to something else.
Right.
One argument is you move by them and keep a static pace and just shoot them as you move, just shooting on the move. And there's tactical application of that. But there's also the argument of, do you just run up, stop, engage, run up, stop, engage? And you know, in shooting competitions, I've heard most people say run up, stop, engage. But in tactical communities, I've actually heard both. So depending on what trainer and who you talk, I'm talking about real deal guys, you'll hear kind of a variable opinion on which one's the one to go with.
Okay.
I think with 5.56, shooting on the move is much more viable than it is with this.
That's true. Yeah.
So this was harder.
Yeah.
And I lost, you know, I'll say this, one thing I didn't say in the other stage was I lost, not on this one, but before when we were shooting, I lost enough periphery that I wasn't remembering which target I had engaged.
That was the stage where we had 3 papers side by side by side.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can understand that. I had a little bit of trouble in picking up the targets on those because the brown paper was very similar in tone to the brown dirt.
It is.
And then that little aperture sight kind of reduces the amount of light you've got coming in. I'm not saying I couldn't find them, but it took me a moment longer to do it than I would have with, say, a red dot.
You know, that's one thing that they improved in the AR as well. Now the the original M16 and M16A1, not so much. It was a flip up for range.
Right.
But when they went to the A2, they had a big old aperture for like close range, and then a precise aperture for distance or aimed fire.
Right.
This doesn't have that. It has one aperture, and that's what you get. So there is an advantage to that big ghost ring on the old A2. So,
That said, still, neither of us really had any issue with the steel targets.
nope.
Steel, the paper was kind of fun.
If you remember aiming at 6 o'clock, you're fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So again, with these were what, mini IPSCs?
Many of
One mini IPSC and one mini Q, which is like a bowling pin sort of thing, at 50 yards, and that was still at the bottom edge of the target with this sight setup.
So in real life, if you were actually using this in combat, what I would say is at every range besides the 300-yard zero, belt buckle hold.
Yeah.
Belt buckle hold and you're good.
Right.
Not a problem.
And that's the point of these sights, is you do that and you will make hits with these probably to like 350.
Somewhere in here, a belt buckle hold's going to hit that guy.
Right.
Now, what that does make you have a hard time with is if you have to have a precision headshot or something. Not as much.
Yeah, when people talk about that sort of, when people really hype up that idea with a cartridge that doesn't have an extreme trajectory, they're always making this assumption that your target's going to be standing there like this, nice and not, you'll see this little corner of him poking out from behind a rock or something.
Yeah. Which is more what you do is you go, bop, 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 bop. Oh, I think one hit.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where 5.56 is nice.
Yeah, but you can do that with this, but the difference is that if one of these hit, you're doing more damage. So, anyways, so far this rifle's been awesome.
I still like this one a lot.
Brownells has got a hit on their
just
hands.
works.
This retro rifle has enough minor changes to it to make it modern viable.
Yep.
But enough retro to it to keep it in the spirit of that Cuban AR-10.
Absolutely. You know what? The biggest thing to me that they did right on this rifle is that it uses DPMS internals.
Yeah, no,
The
totally.
mechanical bits of this rifle are not new design. They don't have to figure out all of the tolerancing and all the specs and get it all. No, these parts are already proofed out. They've been making, DPMS has been making these for decades now.
And that really is the improved version of the AR-10. The AR-10 had a whole bunch of stuff that happened.
Right,
And when
that's
DPS decided to make their, SR-25 AR-10 modern thingamajig.
AR-10,
But yes, in that guise. The point is all those improvements that came, this is the final iteration of all the problems that occurred before.
Right. So we're getting rid of, and in fact, it's all of the little problems that we see with new production rifles today.
Yeah.
Like they get out onto the market, and once they've built 1,000 guns, they realize, oh, the bolt lugs are too small and they're square, and they tend to start developing cracks, which is what happened with the original early AR-10s. And they would slowly iterate improvements into the gun, and this is why you see the guns that are successful are the ones that have had thousands of guns made. They've gone through little iterative improvements over time, and we get that here because we have the look and the feel of the very first AR-10s, but we have the mechanical innards of the most improved, most modern.
So you have an actual durable, reliable Cuban AR-10.
Yep.
So we got one more stage to go.
Yep.
And that stage has
Dun dun dun.
the spinner target.
Yeah, but I got a 308.
But you got a 6-stock hole too.
All right.
Let's go see what happens.
But I only have to do it twice.
That's true. Let's go see what happens.
All right.